acknowledge the passing of a longtime media member, before there was a Bick Nazar, before there was a Sat Shaw, before there was a Pat Steinberg, even a Rob Kerr. There was a guy in Calgary named John Henderson. There was also a guy named John Short at Edmonton that used to take calls post-game. And John Henderson passed away this weekend, I'm going to say. I don't know the specific day. I just saw the tweet from Darren Haynes that he passed away. Wanted to acknowledge that. I was one like him that was old enough to remember John Henderson taking those phone calls. One of the pioneers of taking the phone calls post-game show passing away, and I think just in terms of probably a pioneer where we are at in the media landscape today. I mean, I don't know if there's podcasts without a John Henderson doing his thing or a John Short doing his thing or even Dan Russell doing his thing back in the day as well. So I think it's important to acknowledge that just from a media perspective. Anyway, back to Thursday. I'm going back to Thursday because I think that this is the plan. It was another listless performance between the Vancouver Canucks and the Florida Panthers. Panthers get out to a 3-0 lead and cruise to a 5-1 victory over the Vancouver Canucks. Bruce Boudreau, I'm going to go by his words, decides Saturday night he's going to scratch Brock Boeser. They make the announcement in the morning that Brock Boeser is going to be scratched. And Dakota...
Kev, I just want to clarify that one. There was no announcement about that. It was literally just he wasn't part of the morning skate lines.
Although it came out that Bruce had made the decision Friday evening.
Yeah,
he heard that later, but
I'm going by I'm going by what we knew later. But I'm just sorry, just to clarify. According to Bruce Boudreau, post game after yesterday's 3-2 win over Arizona, he made the decision Friday night that he was going to scratch Brock Boeser. Boeser is scratched. Hullabaloo for somehow. Dakota Joshua is going to get into the lineup. Dakota Joshua gets an injury in the afternoon, and he's unable to go. So Brock Boeser is back in the lineup. He almost scores he ties the game, almost scores the overtime winner. And before the game, Elliot Friedman says that Brock Boeser's camp has permission to speak to other teams in regards to a trade. So now we have now we're here with the Brock Boeser episode, and I guess maybe we'll start with Tyler or Chris. Where do we go here?
Well, an important piece of context with this is that it was Hockey Fights Cancer Night, and how closely Brock and his family is tied to that, I think is kind of the overarching punch to the gut for Brock to see that he was not going to be in the lineup on that day's game. I think that's important context to kind of overarch this story with.
Okay, I'm going to push back a little bit on that, though, because Bruce Boudreau said he didn't know. And and I understand that there were people on Twitter that were upset about it. But at the same time, Brock Boeser has not objectively, and he admitted so in the postgame, he has not been close to good enough. And Bruce Boudreau is pushing for his job, and he has to do something. And he said he didn't know about Hockey Fights Cancer. I think, and the Twitter, and I'm gonna push this a little further. The Twitter conversation when Brock Boeser was being scratched before Elliot Friedman brought up Hockey Fights Cancer, and the conversation after Elliot Friedman brought up Hockey Fights Cancer was much different, because there was a ton of people that all of a sudden said, I can't believe that you would do this to Brock Boeser, that were supporting the scratching of Brock Boeser. So I'm going to start by calling out the bullshit. I saw a lot of that. There was a lot of people, oh yeah, no, this is a good move. And then all of a sudden it's Hockey Fights Cancer. Oh, what? I can't believe you did that.
So in regards to Boudreau, I mean, I don't know why he would come out and say that he just, he forgot or didn't know that it was the Hockey Fights Cancer night. And he just gave everybody more fodder. Yeah, I mean, that's just given.
Yeah,
that's just given. I mean, lie there. Just like you're giving the media and fans more fodder about how dysfunctional this whole thing is right now. Like,
how is that dysfunctional though? That all he's thinking about, maybe he did know, but it just didn't connect. You know how you always have that, like, something's going on, but you're focused on. He probably knew it was going on, but he was focused on the the hockey, that part, and then it just didn't connect. And he's like, well, after the performance on Thursday, I need to make a decision, and he makes the decision.
Yeah.
And it's, again, I like.
And Brock's been not good.
I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe Bruce. I believe it. There was no, like, it wasn't a. But then the other thing is he's coaching for his job. He's coaching for wins. He needs to put the lineup out there that he feels gives them the best chance to win. And if he short term and long term. So if he needs to make a statement by scratching a big name like a Brock Boeser or someone else, and he feels like he has to do that, he should have the prerogative to do that. It shouldn't matter what special game is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
If that player wants to make sure that they're playing that game and it's important to them, they need to make sure that they're playing good enough so that they're in the lineup.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I wasn't trying to say anyone was right or wrong when I brought this up, the whole Hockey Fights Cancer thing. I was just basically saying it plays an important part of the context of this story.
Yeah. And then it's just kind of typical, I guess, Canucks, or fitting for the Canucks, that this whole scenario of it appearing like he was going to be scratched and then not being scratched comes about. So now we've got this important player that's basically gone through a half a day of public embarrassment, ends up playing anyways. But maybe the desired outcome in the end was the one that they got, because Brock did have a great game, got a goal. As he pointed out after the game, a goal that wasn't just sort of a rebound, just shove it in from the side of the net, but an actual, what we're used to seeing with Brock, a nice snipe shot past the goalie, tied the game, and the Canucks ended up winning in overtime. And there's a reason why people had a lot to say about this topic, because Brock's a very likable guy. And why do we like him? Well, look how real he was with the media after the game. People just love that with Brock. I do. He's he doesn't speak cryptic. He just speaks exactly whatever he feels. And then he did talk about how important the game was for his family, and you saw him wearing the Dookie warm-up jersey, and there was a little bit more of a pep in his step for the game last night, and it helped the Canucks get a win.